Hello, my friends. It's me, Karen Valentine, and we are here for part 2 of this page from Fantasy and Fae by Erin Ewer. So we managed to get the skin and the hair done on the last video, and I realized as I was doing the artwork, the thumbnail artwork and stuff for the video, how much similar to Erin's original artwork this was. And I guess really you can't get too far away, considering that, you know, a fair-skinned blonde-haired fairy is pretty much a fair-skinned blonde-haired fairy. But that is where the similarities are going to end. We're going to do the rest of the page a little different, a little more color. And so, yeah. But before I do that, something that I had wanted to do on the last video and I completely forgot to do was to kind of show you guys the difference between coloring on tan paper compared to white paper. And I did this image twice. And my original intent was to do it exactly the same way on both pages and compare. But you really can't do it exactly the same way, especially with skin, because one of the skin tones then will come out looking really weird. And I was going to do the same background too, and I flaked out and I did a different background. So that being said, this is the same image colored almost the same way on tan paper and on white paper. So as you can see, I'm gonna switch them just because sometimes the lighting on this side of the camera is a little bit more amber because of the lights. So as you can see, there's definitely a difference in the brightness. That kind of can't be helped when you're working on, you know, white paper, and the brightness of the white paper is always going to kind of show through. So when I did the skin tones on this one, I used more of the peach than I did the light peach. And when I did it on this one, I used more of the light peach than the peach, because as I said before, I'm pretty sure I said before, the white colors, or the light colors really show up a lot and are bright on this paper. So if I had done all light peach on this, her skin would have been, for me and what I wanted, way too bright and light. And if I had used all regular peach on this one, her skin would have been too dark and, I don't know, peachy, I guess. I don't know how else to describe it. But, so you can see that a lot of the stuff is similar. You know, this is very similar. Her hair is very similar. There is a little bit of darkness more on this side than on this side. So sometimes it helps to see the same page side by side so you can see the different look that you'll get with tan paper versus white paper. So don't expect, if you're coloring along and you're doing this page, if you're doing it on white paper, don't expect it to look exactly like the one that I'm doing, because your colors are going to take differently on the white paper. And both of them, I think, are very beautiful as far as like the colors and how they look on the page. So I don't think you can go wrong whether you're using white paper or tan paper. It's kind of just a personal preference. There are definitely times when I wish that my white paper would perform like the tan paper, especially, for example, when doing a light background, especially with like gelatos, because they're kind of translucent. You get a completely different look when you're using those gelatos on tan cardstock than you do on white. And so I wish there was some magical, some perfect paper that was white, but performed just like this one. I haven't found one yet. I can't think of the name of the paper now. It's in the description box down below. My brain's not working. I can't think of it. But this one is the closest that I personally have found, because it has just the right amount of tooth as far as for me, because I do like a smoother paper, but it still lets me get a lot of layers in. So anyway, that's the difference in look between the tan and the white. So here we are on this one. And I pulled out a bunch of greens to play with. And I did not like pre-plan or pre-test or try and figure out what I was going to do on this page. So you will be witnessing it right along with me. And if we don't like it or I don't like it, then I'm going to have to figure out how to fix it. But, and I also want to try and figure out, you know, I might turn the camera off for a second and push it away from me a little bit, because if we're working on the top of this page, in order to be zoomed in, I am hitting myself. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to turn it off. I'm going to kind of readjust so that we don't have going out of camera problems. And I'll be right back. Okay, that is much, much, much better. Okay, so when working on Greyscale, obviously the really dark areas are going to continue to be darker than the light areas. However, you can get around that by putting down a layer of white in areas where you want to lighten up the image. And I'm trying to see if there's a good place to show this. I wonder if we should do the crows first. We'll do the leaves first. Okay, so I'm trying to see if there's a way that I can show you that. I wonder if I should show you on a different piece of paper. No, we'll just do it. Let's just do it. And because maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. This is gray green light. So I'm using this as my light color. And if I were to put this on a really dark bit, like over here, you can see that it's going to lighten it, because it just does. And then when you go to put your other color on top, this color is going to shine through and make it so that the dark color of the paper is not quite as dark. Now, usually on Greyscale, if you're like she colored her crow is black, so it's going to be quite dark, and it's not necessarily an easy thing to, you know, turn that into a, you know, blue jay, because but it can be done. It can be done. So I'm just going to color, and you know, I thought I was going to be able to give you all these like fabulous insights into coloring Greyscale, and my brain's just not working in that manner. So I'm just going to do what feels right to me, and we'll just do it. And then if you have any questions, you can always send me a message or contact me in a direct message via Instagram or on Facebook. I am perfectly happy to answer any questions that you guys have, because I'm kind of a teacher at heart, and I'm happy to, you're not bugging me if you wanna ask me some questions. Okay. So I kind of want these to be kind of mottled with lots of different colors. So I have quite a few greens here to play with and choose from. Okay, so this is olive green. And as you can see, when you put this over the color, that gray-green light, it remains quite light. So the difference between putting this straight onto the dark area and putting it on top of that gray-green light is pretty significant. It's a nice, it lightens it up quite a lot. So I think I want to kind of figure out what colors I'm going to use. So I'm going to work on one leaf to start with, and then we can always, so this is Jade Green. And I kind of like how it adds a little bit of bluish, grayish blue tones in there. That's pretty nice. And then this is Kelp Green. I'm going to use this in areas that I kind of want to make dark or darker. I want some browns in here too, so nope. Espresso. You guys know I like my espresso. So I don't know why, but I'm on this kick of putting little dots on my leaves. Browns on the edges, and little dots. It's like my weird way of making it look more real, I guess. I don't know, but I like it. Okay, well, I think the only other thing I might want to add is a little bit of yellow ochre. Okay, I think that's going to be our color combo. Of course, I always can throw other stuff in there too. All right, so olive green. So even when I don't put any lighter colors underneath, you can still see the green very, very well. I mean, it still shows up quite nicely on top of the really darkest colors. So there's not really any special trick to coloring on grayscale. You just kind of color it the way you'll get a feel for it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. You color it the way you would color anything else. And as you do it once or twice, you'll realize, oh, next time, maybe I want to put some lighter color underneath an area. Or, I don't know. Just kind of, you figure it out because it's not so different. And I'm going to shut up now because I feel like I'm babbling and not really explaining things that well. Kelp Green. Jade Green. Something about that mixed in with these olivey greens I really like. Espresso. I'm going to add some Limepeel on top of this one. Well, that really brightened that up, didn't it? Okay, let's go back to olive green. Jade Green. Kelp Green. Put in some yellow ochre. And Espresso. Oh, I missed a leaf up there. Of course I did. I want this one to have some more color on it, so I'm going to take Limepeel. Now back to Espresso. I also like using a fine liner for doing these kind of dots too. That works really well. Okay, do I want to blend any of this? The answer is yes. Yes, I do. We're gonna have to figure out where we're gonna put shadows because we haven't really defined where our light source is coming from, although it appears that it's going to be coming from this side. So all right, let's finish this leaf because I totally forgot. Oh, and there's some down here too. Leaves are everywhere. Algae green. I definitely tend to be attracted to the yellow greens. I've got some greens in my pencil case that I hardly ever touch. Jade Green. And Espresso. Sure I'm staying in frame. Do some more dots. And then if you're doing this on this paper, you can always take a light color and go over the top, and you'll still be able to add that highlight on top. It works just fine. It may do the same thing because it's Greyscale. It may do the same thing on white paper too. Okay, there's a couple of leaves down here. Now they're kind of recessed, so I don't know how much light I want to put to those. Just maybe a tiny little bit. And maybe I'll go straight to algae green. Is that right? Or kelp green? Nope, kelp green. It says algae on my pencil. Kelp green. Limepeel. Boy, Limepeel really adds some pretty bright. And then Espresso. Okay. So the question then becomes, do we do, I'm going to zoom out a little bit. So we could, the name of the page is Seasons Change. So we could kind of have these be the summer, early fall leaves, and we could do these leaves with a lot more brown in them and make them a little bit more like fall crispy kind of leaves. I'm not ready to make that decision yet, so I think I'm going to just kind of work on this section first. So let's do the crow. Now the crow, I pulled out what I wanted for that crow. I think I did. Maybe I put it away. So to make him a little bit more interesting and not quite just black and gray, I'm going to use my dark blue, and I can't find it. Where's my dark blue? No, that's gray. No blue here. That's black. That's black. Well, my goodness. Oh, there he is. Okay. So we're going to use indigo blue in addition to black and white and probably some grays. So I'm going to start by putting down white, and I'm going to do it in straight lines that are going to be similar to what the feathers would do, because I think that when we add the other colors on top, the lines that we put here are still going to show. Like under here, under his tail, where it's really, really black, I'm going to take my pencil my white pencil, and then when I go over that with the with the blue, it will still stay dark, but you'll be able to see the blue. As opposed to if I do it down here, which is just straight onto the black, you can still kind of see it, but nowhere near as well as you can see it if I put white down first. So that's another way to get, when you're working with grayscale, if there's an area that you want to be lighter, you just put a little bit of light color underneath, and that takes care of it. Okay, so I'm going to just start adding some of this indigo blue. Then I'm going to use my black. And we can also use like some 50% might actually be too light. Might want to switch to 70. So I kind of like, and look how bright that 50% gray gets on top of the black. Not sure how I want to handle that. I think I want it to be darker at the bottom than it is. So this is 90% cool gray. And then we'll use the 50% cool gray. It looks a little bit more natural. Put a nice dark black underneath it. Okay, and then obviously he wouldn't have a bright white tail there, so we'll get some more. Sorry, I was doing that whole thing without being zoomed in. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so let's add a little bit more 90% cool gray. Works. So you want to make sure that you've got plenty of lights and darks. Even though he's a black crow, you still want all that texture of the feathers and so on and so forth, or else he'll just look like a big black blob. I might want to make that just a little bit darker, a little bit less blue. I think that's better. Okay, am I happy with his beak? What if we were to add some espresso? Okay, let's do the branches. We might as well try and get maybe we'll work in quadrants. All right, so we're going to do the branches. I'm going to put our white down for our brightest areas. Now I want something I don't have out, I think. Let's see, I'm going to want that. And I should have a beige sienna somewhere. That's what happens when I'm working on too many different pages at one time. Okay, little sharpen. Okay, beige sienna. It's another light one, so it's gonna really brighten up the branch. light umber. Espresso. Now, we have some options. We can do these deep branches down here in black because they are like the furthest away in the darkest part of the sky. Or we could do them in espresso. Or we could do both. So I'm just going to try and see what that looks like. So that was espresso. I kind of like it like that. Black. Espresso. Let's just keep going with that here. Kind of keeping that to the bottom part of the branch if I can. Okay, I think I want to make this one a little bit darker. I think that looks pretty good. Okay, well, we can keep on going. I have to decide what I want to do about those leaves, huh? And I also have to decide, how much color I want to put into this page. I know that I want to do the sky in a dark, kind of a dark bluey gray. because I want to show you guys that you really can use a lot of color on a dark grayscale page. So we're into the blues and the greens. And so I think that I'm going to do the flowers in white. Because we're going to have all this color going on and kind of rich, deeper colors. I don't want to do pink. I don't want to do pink flowers. We could do yellow flowers, but I think I'm going to do white flowers with maybe some other color in there. And then we have the mushrooms, and we can do the traditional red mushrooms that everybody loves to do. But again, I don't think I want to put in another color. So I think we're going to wind up doing brown mushrooms. So, I'm sorry, I'm being all indecisive here. Sit here and listen to my thought processes. I actually really like the way those leaves look. So I'm tempted to just do that same color down here. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do the crow and the rest of these leaves. Okay, so let's do the crow first because I'm kind of in the mood to do the crow. So we're back to our blue indigo, our black. Zoom in this time. Where's the white? Right here. Okay, so we're gonna use the light bits on the crow as our guide because they're already there, so it's easy and they make sense. But anytime you want to add additional highlights somewhere on grayscale, you totally can because the white will completely show up and you can lighten anything you want. Add our blue. To move the camera again. Let's see if I can do that without. That's maybe better. Okay, so black. You know, I didn't do the eye on him, I just realized. I don't know what color a crow's eyes or a raven. What are they, ravens or crows? I don't know what color their eyes are supposed to be. want a little bit more texture. So this is my 50% cool gray. And I've already, you know, put down some blacks and dark colors. I think that you can see that this gray is just going right over the top of that black and giving us a little bit of highlight and texture, which is really nice. Okay. Is he black enough? I know I keep going back and forth between adding color and then taking color away. Adding color, not color, adding darkness and then taking it away. But it's kind of how we get the look that I want. Okay, there's something about this that I don't like. Maybe we need, maybe it's too light. I don't know. Well, I had an iPad here somewhere for me to look up the color of the eyes. I don't see it. Did I take it out of the room? Goodness. Okay, I need to do a little bit of research to see what color those raven's eyes need to be. So I'm going to do that and I'll be right back. Okay, so this is sort of not helpful because I'm seeing like gray and black eyes. I'm seeing yellow eyes. There's one with red eyes, but I'm thinking that they're probably just black. So maybe we'll just do a little bit of light gray and call it good, because I really don't think that they would be anything other than that. So I think that's perfectly fine. Okay, so now we're going to finish up these leaves, and then I think we'll probably be done for the day. But I like the way that looks. I hope you guys like the way it looks. All right, so gray, green, light. I also kind of like how these leaves don't have any specific, what am I trying to say? You can kind of just color them multiple colors and you don't have to worry about them being very specific in their lines. I don't know. I'm not making much sense even to myself today, so you probably just shut up. Okay, I think that's a leaf. Maybe it's a couple of leaves. It's got to be. Let's do a little bit here. I don't think I'm going to put any on that one. What is that? It's got to be leaf. We're just going to treat it like it's leaf. Okay. Olive green. Let's see, how far can I come down and still stay? Right there. Kelp Green. Okay, so this is a leaf back here. These are leaves in here. Some probably leaves in here. Put some of the blue, the Jade Green in. And some yellow ochre. And I think some Limepeel. Espresso. A little blend. In little spots. It really is easier to do this with a fine liner. My Arteza fine liners work really well for this, because then you just have to tap it instead of smushing it into the wax pencil. I think I do want these to be a little bit darker than these, and I kind of feel like we achieved that by not putting in quite as much bright. I mean, they're close. They're close, but they feel just a little bit darker, so that's good. I think I might actually do some more dark green right in here. Not out of screen for that. So there we are so far. Oh, there's still some leaves right there. Let's get those done. Let's get those done. Olive green. It's easy to miss bits when you have a busy, full page. At least it's easy for me. I do it all the time. blue, jade green right here. And espresso. Okay. It's good. Should we knot through these branches too, and then we'll get all the branches done and out of the way? I say yes. Hopefully this video isn't going to be too long. It feels like we should have gotten a lot more accomplished than what we did. So put in our white bits. And you can even put some dots in if you want. Just helps to add to the texture. And I think I'm going to skip the beige sienna and go straight for the light umber. Espresso. Espresso for the I could possibly leave these uncolored, but depending on what you do for the background, you don't want these to get covered up. And if you put pencil down, they're less likely to get covered up. Now black. Have I mentioned lately how much I love to color? This is just, it's just one of those things I'm so grateful for. I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful that you are here with me. I just love doing this so much. I've always done art of some kind, you know, whether it was like mixed media art or, you know, projects where I'm sewing stuff, you know, putting things together. I've done some jewelry making. I've done all kinds of stuff, all different creative things. And none of those have made me as happy or made me as excited to sit down to work on as coloring. It's just something about starting with a gray or black and white, or whatever color it is, just a page devoid of color and personality, and just making it, watching it come to life. It's just really cool. Okay. All right, part of me feels like the white is too white on top of those branches. So, pulled out my eggshell, and I'm going over that with eggshell. And I like it better. All right, so there we are. I'm not sure what I'll do for those. Those are some kind of fern. I kind of want to look that up and see what that is. Those are berries, and I'm thinking blueberries because we've already got some blue going on in here. We can make these berries blue. That'd be cool. And then, so I think on the next video, hopefully, I don't know how long it'll take us to do those flowers. Hopefully we'll do this bit, the mushrooms and the flowers, on the next video. And then the background. Alrighty, so there we are. So I think that you guys can see and tell that coloring on grayscale is really not any different than coloring, not grayscale. I don't really want to say line art because I hardly ever color just straight line art. Occasionally I do, but I really like the shaded images and the grayscale images more, because I don't like heavy dark lines that is typical of a lot of line art. I like everything to be a little bit softer. So to me, that's what you get when you do grayscale. So I hope you enjoyed the video this time, and maybe learned something. I don't know. If not, then hopefully you had a good time anyway, and I will be back soon to work on the rest of the page. So until I see you guys again, take care of yourselves, take care of each other. Happy coloring. Bye.